In this video, I'm going to be going over the top 10 must-have cards right now in NBA 2K25 My Team. These are going to be a total of 10 cards that I think that everybody should be trying to have on their squad, giving you guys a bunch of different must-have cards. So we'll be talking about some maybe expensive cards like Dark Matter Michael Beasley, who I do think is definitely a must-have card, but then I'll also be mentioning budget cards that I do think are must-have cards that go for 5 to 25,000 MT, maybe some mid-tier price cards like 30 to 60k, and then maybe some cards for like 100,000 MT, maybe some free cards in there as well. Just talking about a bunch of different cards that I do think are worth having and are must-have cards. So these are, in my opinion, the top 10 must-have cards right now in my team. And at number not one, because we're not doing this in a ranking, but the first card I want to talk about is Dark Matter Michael Beasley. For a card that really isn't that expensive, like I'm looking on Xbox right now, and there is one legit ending for 500,000 MT. I think for 500k, you getting the second best small forward in this game is definitely a must-have. 6'9" in small forward, 7-foot wingspan. The thing about the Pink Diamond Beasley is he didn't have the defense or the badges that the Dark Matter one has, and he only had his jump shot on quick timing, where Dark Matter Beasley has his release on very quick timing. Also does have the Pro 2 fade, which I think I like a little bit more than the Cameron Thomas fade. After using the Dark Matter Beasley, I like it a little bit more, so a better fade, a quicker jump shot, and he also does have better dribble sigs, because on the Pink Diamond he had the Booker escape, and on the Dark Matter he does have the Kemba escape, which I think is obviously much better. And yeah, he just sold for 474k on Xbox. I think for that price, really worth his price, and I do think is a must-have card at the small forward position. Next card I want to talk about might be a little bit shocking to you guys, and maybe people disagree with this, and that's perfectly okay. If you guys don't like this card, you do not have to use him. I'm just recommending him because I've had a lot of success with this card, and I think he's really good at center, and that is going to be Galaxy Roy Hibbert. Now, I know his jump shot is horrible, but I'm actually somewhat consistent with it. I feel like I can green consistently with this card, and if you can hit with this card wide open, I do think he's a must-have card because he's only about 100,000 MT. He's a 7'2" center with a 7'7" wingspan, and I'm telling you guys, he is one of the best player models in this entire game. He is an absolute beast on the interior. You take a look at his defensive stats: 98 interior defense, 98 perimeter. But the thing I like about this card is I feel like when he gets switched onto the perimeter and he's having to guard guards, he can actually do it. He has a 92 steal and a 97 perimeter. I think that's, or sorry, 92 perimeter, 97 steal. I think that's good enough for a center card. Really good defensive half badges. I understand the jump shot is maybe not the greatest and could be inconsistent, but for me personally, I feel like I can green consistently with this card, and I do think for that reason, he's going to be a top 10 must-have card. Now going over to two names that you guys have probably heard me talk about a ton is going to be Pink Diamond Dr. J and Pink Diamond Wemby. I think for their price, they're both must-have cards. Like if you're looking for a cheap shooting guard, just go ahead and get Dr. J. He's got a great jump shot. He's got a great behind the back with the Kawhi Leonard behind the back. I like the KD escape, but his jump shot is just so good. He's also got the pro fade, which I do kind of like as well. I feel like I'm pretty consistent with his fade, but I mean, for 35k, you know, kind of at the most like 30 to 35k, this card is just so good at shooting guard. 6'7", 6'11" wingspan. I mean, yeah, good defensively, can slash to the rim, has a really good jump shot. He's a cheaper kind of budget card-ish that I would say, like he's around that budget price tag that I do think is a must-have. And then you got Pink Diamond Wemby, who, I mean, maybe isn't the fastest card in this game. And sure, if you're versing 100 overall Yao Ming with Pink Diamond Wemby, you're going to get ran around every single time. And there's a lot of center cards that people run that are a lot faster than Wemby, but I feel like it challenges you to actually play good defense. And if you're, you know, on balling with Wemby and they're trying to run around you, you can easily just back up, because the cards that are trying to run around you with Wemby aren't the greatest three-point shooters. They don't have the fastest jump shots in this world. So if you guys watch my No Money Spent episode and you guys watch me using Pink Diamond Wemby, I was matching up against 100 overall Shaqs. I was matching up against Dark Matter Kareems and Dark Matter D-Robs, and I don't remember all the centers I was facing, but I was facing the fast 95, 99 speed centers with Pink Diamond Wemby, and I don't think he had really much of an issue. We won our first 5 games in a row against really good squads, and I didn't really think he was getting ran around every single possession. I think his jump shot makes him super valuable. He's 7'4" at center with a 7'8" wingspan, and that jump shot is seriously uncontestable, that you can catch your opponent sleeping. If your opponent is not paying attention and is on ball, like basically if you guys watch the No Money Spent episode, what a lot of people like to do when they're trying to sweat and they're trying to play like comp and they're trying to like be good at the game, they just off ball and they sit in the corner. So what you can do is you can catch them kind of sleeping in the corner, pretend like you're running a little pick and roll at the top of the key, kind of just a decoy, and then you just swing the ball to the corner, and if you just shoot over the top of them and they're not paying attention, and maybe they're late to a contest or they just try to put their hand up, you're gonna get a wide open shot. And I think his jump shot's very easy to green. So I personally really like Pink Diamond Wemby. I think his defense is obviously top tier. He gets really good animations, and he's not that expensive. He goes for 150 to maybe 200,000 MT at the most, but I've seen this card end a ton of times for 150k. So if you're looking for a top tier center, you got Roy Hibbert, you got Pink Diamond Wemby, you can kind of choose between those cards. I'd probably personally take Pink Diamond Wemby over Roy Hibbert, but I do think Wemby is a must-have card. Now to talk about some really cheap budget options that I do think are a must-have is going to be Anthony Morrow. This card is so good at point guard, 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. Sure, the defensive stats maybe aren't the greatest, maybe the badges aren't insane, but his jump shot is so good. One of my favorite jump shots in this game on a point guard that isn't like super expensive. He's got a really good jump shot. I like his dribble sigs with the Fox dribble style, the Curry size up. I love that tray escape, and I think he's really good offensively for what, 5 to 10k. I think he's more so around 5,000 MT. He's an absolute beast at point guard. Another really good budget card is Pink Diamond Eddie Curry, a 7-foot center who can also play power forward, 7'7" wingspan with a really good jump shot. To me, it's kind of like, do you want the offensive Eddie Curry or do you want the defensive Roy Hibbert? If you want more defense, you want more size, you want a card that's just going to be an absolute monster in the paint, you go for Roy Hibbert. If you want a card that's, you know, maybe more 3 hunting and has a better jump shot and, you know, maybe isn't as good defensively but has the better jump shot and is going to be more consistent for you on offense, then you go for Pink Diamond Eddie Curry. Now I know the price difference is a lot. Eddie Curry's only 10,000 MT, Roy Hibbert's 100,000, but I do think Roy Hibbert might not be a better card, but I think he's also a must-have center. If you want a card that can contain the really big centers in this game, the Yao Mings, you know, those type of cards, he might not have the speed, but he definitely has the size to compete with the top tier centers, and Eddie Curry is really good for a budget price tag of like 10,000 MT. Another really good budget card, one of the best in this game, and I do think is a must-have card at the point guard position. Like, everybody should be striving to have this card, and that is Pink Diamond Dyson Daniels, 6'7" at point guard, 6'11" wingspan, and he is a point guard because of his defense that can compete with the best of the best point guards in this entire game. I'm talking 100 overall Shea, 100 overall MJ, 100 overall Penny, Oscar, whatever card you want to say is the best point guard in this game, J-Kid, Stephon Castle, Magic, Shea, right? All of these cards, because of his defense, he's able to contain and play really good defense on those cards. And I think for that reason, 25 to 30k, because of his defensive ability, 98 agility, right? 99 steal. This card is an absolute monster on defense, and I do think is a must-have card right now in my team, especially at the point guard position. And then the last budget card I wanted to talk about in this top 10 is a super cheap card, like 5 to 7k, and Pink Diamond Roko is amazing for that price. 6'9" at shooting guard, extremely good height, 7'2" wingspan is insane. The defense on this card is top tier, just like Dyson Daniels. He's a card that you can put on invincible Kevin Durant, you can put on 100 overall T-Mac, and you know, he's not going to be able to stop those cards because those cards are ridiculously good offensively, but he's a guard that can honestly, because of his size, his wingspan, his player model, his defensive stats and badges, can guard every single card in this game at the shooting guard position. You know, might struggle against the best of the best with, you know, Kevin Durant or T-Mac or Carmelo, you know, those type of cards, right? But I mean, against everyone else, he's going to be an absolute lockdown defender and also has a very consistent jump shot in the catch and shoot. And then a card I wanted to talk about that I do think is a must have for like a middle tier price is about like 50k for Galaxy Bodino, and Galaxy Bodino is an absolute beast at power forward. I think he's a power forward that can also compete with the top tier power forwards. He plays really good defense. I do like his jump shot, and I think he's a great option at the power forward position. And then guys, to round out the top 10 must have cards in this game, I wanted to just rattle off some like festival cards that you guys can get for free. I think Dark Matter Jason Kidd is probably the best route to go if you guys need a point guard. I do think he's really good at point guard. He has an amazing jump shot, Patty Mills base, Darius Garland upper, on very quick, also has the Pro 2 fade, amazing dribble sigs. If you guys are grinding the festival, I do think Jason Kidd is a must-have card from the festival. I think Dark Matter Marc Gasol is also really good, but he's the same amount of pieces as Jason Kidd, so unless you don't need a point guard, I would just go get Jason Kidd over Marc Gasol. But if you already have 2 really good point guards that you like, or maybe they're unauctionable and you can't sell them, I do think Marc Gasol is the next best option with a really good jump shot and is an absolute beast at the power forward position. I mean, Bam and Wiggins are good, but I don't know if they're worth their pieces. Galaxy Opal Nick Young is really good offensively if you want an offensive shooting guard. I would say those are the cards to really be after: Jason Kidd, Marc Gasol, and Nick Young from the festival set. And then obviously guys, make sure you're grinding for Tim Duncan. He's a really good card, whether you get the free version at level 40 or you do get the pro pass version as well. But just wanted to include some couple free cards, you know, from the bracket bus, or sorry, from the signature series festival, and also talk about Tim Duncan as well, just included as that 10th card in the top 10 must-have cards. But hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comment section down below what cards do you guys think are also must-have right now in my team, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.